Hey guys, Jeff Buhner here. I want to tell you something that happened to me about 28 years ago. I was a young man trying to provide for my growing family as a concrete contractor. And I made enough money to do that as long as not very many things went wrong. But some major things did go wrong, and I found myself trying to dig out of a hole that seemed to just get deeper and deeper. The obvious answer was to work more hours and take on more work. But at some point I maxed that out. I literally could not work any harder. And after years of doing this, I became completely exhausted and felt this ever-present sense of kind of mild panic, and it never went away. One morning, I was talking to an old woman who we were pouring a concrete patio for. And all of this emotion, all of this frustration just came pouring out of me. And I just kind of dumped it on her. I told her how hard I was working, how tired I was, and how frustrated I was. Now I know you felt this way too, and maybe you feel this way right now. If so, please keep listening. I promise this story has a happy ending. At this point, she excused herself and went into the house. A few minutes later, she returned with a manuscript in her hands. I had no way of knowing in that moment that my prayers for a better life had just been answered. This manuscript told the story of the author of the beloved fairy tale, Aladdin and the Magic Lamp, a real man in history named Sultan Musa of Mali. He lived in the 14th century in West Africa, and Sultan Musa of Mali was the richest man to ever walk the earth. Let me repeat that. Sultan Musa of Mali was the richest man who ever lived. Nobody else has ever come close. Musa was not born the son of a sultan. In fact, Musa's father died when he was very young, condemning him and his mother to extreme poverty. The real story of how Musa went from poverty-stricken street urchin to incredibly wealthy merchant, and finally to Sultan of the entire Mali kingdom, is spellbinding. Musa wrote his story on two separate parchments. One is a metaphor for his life, the fairy tale, Aladdin and the Magic Lamp. Musa shared this fairy tale freely with anyone who would listen. But the second parchment, he only shared with those he could trust, because even sultans can get into trouble if they start sounding crazy. The second parchment tells the story of a near-death experience that Musa had at the age of 12, wherein a man made of light taught him many astounding and extraordinary things, 7 basic principles that allowed Musa to take control of his life and his future and totally transform his situation. Even though Musa was careful, he still shared these 7 principles with hundreds of people. And nearly all of those people became incredibly productive and prosperous. And those people shared the principles with others, so much so that Musa's teachings single-handedly lifted the entire Mali kingdom out of poverty and drastically increased the overall standard of living for everyone. You should watch National Geographic's documentary on him. The second manuscript includes the fairy tale, but goes into great detail explaining who Aladdin represents and who the genie represents in real life. It also clearly lays out what the magic lamp represents and how to use it. Let me tell you what happened to me when I just started dabbling with these 7 principles. I very quickly went from an in-debt, struggling, tired, sore, and frustrated concrete contractor to making millions of dollars a year in a business I loved. Cars, homes, and other things came so fast that I actually had to use the first of the 7 principles to slow things down a little bit. That's how real this is. I've used these 7 principles to create and enjoy a truly magical life. And I've shared these principles with others who have used them to do the same thing. Now I want to share them with you. I'm inviting you to join my 3-day 7 Secrets Challenge. In this challenge, I'll share all 7 of the Sultan's secrets with you. When you sign up, you'll get my book, The Sultan's 7 Secrets, absolutely free. And during the challenge, I'll teach you a game that you can play no matter where you are or what you're doing that allows you to practice all 7 principles at once without having to remember them or even think about them. Once you learn this game and start doing it, you'll take control of your future and be the Sultan of your own destiny. So please join now, and I'll see you at the challenge.